mentioned. So each layer will harden, and then it'll just build on the next layer. Build a cool whatever model you need. There's really no limits other than size.
One of the things that's kind of interesting about this, that at some point you should look at the back of this printer. Essentially what it's using to drive that is an Arduino. It's a little bit more complicated than an Arduino. It's called a ramp board, but it's functionally an Arduino. And so the same motor control we talked about last week is exactly what's making this work.
What's the purpose of heating the thing?
Because we want it to stick. We want the first few layers to stick to the heat bed, or else it will start peeling off.
It needs
So
dry
we're
again.
getting model because we need a perfectly balanced. Each layer needs to be perfectly level, so we don't get inconsistencies in each layer. And the extruder will start hitting each layer and get melted.
Specifically, though, the heated bed, when the plastic is pushed into it, it adheres more, and when it becomes cool, it pops back off. And so you can use different types of bed and treatment other than heating. But white heating is a super way to do it, and so pretty much everybody's using a heated bed now rather than different treatments.
So that's the printer. Any questions about how it works? Or
I heard that they are finicky for calibration. Is that
totally.
totally?
Yeah, I've spent a lot of time trying to calibrate this. I think I've gotten it to a reasonable level. I think it could be better. It's about leveling the heat bed to make sure that there's no inconsistencies. Like, so there's the distance at each point on the heat bed will be the same. So we get a nice flat layer. But yeah, it's very difficult.
Is that what the levelage for it? I mean, looking online, people said like this printer comes with a leveler. Is that right?
Yeah, so our Robo 3D in there auto levels the bed. It goes down at the start of every print and touches to make sure that the corners of the bed are at the same level. This one does not. This one requires a manual process to make sure it's in level, and then it always goes to that same place and stays level until somebody bumps it or changes it. And the auto leveling actually is a really nice feature on these.
You save a lot of time, probably. I think. Yeah. But yeah, it's just basically making sure that wherever you're printing, the distance is always the same. So, because or else you'll get it'll be extruding more at one point and extruding less at another point. Yeah. So I was just gonna run through kind of how to bring up a model onto the software and then start printing. So I showed you how to open up MakerBot, the MakerBot software. It's pretty straightforward. So there's 5 icons here, which you can control your model. But first I'll just go File, and then Open. And then I have this model already set up in Documents. So you can grab it through your email or whatever, downloads wherever it saves on the computer. Double click it, and then I don't know if you guys can see it there, but it shows up there. That's this model. So what you're going to want to do, so the eye is highlighted right now. So that allows me to just check out the model and just see it in different views. I'm going to, so this next icon here with the 4 arrows allows me to move the model on the heating bed. So this is the heating bed right here. So what I'm going to do is move this model out of the way of the broken tape here because it's not going to stick well to that part. So I'm going to move it to the left because I find on this printer that the left side holds it better. So I'm just going to move it just like that. And then I can go back to the eye and check where it's at. So these 2 points are probably still going to be on that mess. So I'm going to go to the 3rd icon, which is a rotating icon. Click that, and this allows me to click and drag the model. So I'm rotating it in the right 90 degrees. There. Okay. I'm just going to go back to the 4 arrows and move it a bit more. Just to get it out of the way, just to be sure. So now I have it set, and it should be good. So what I'm going to do is go to the settings. So that would be right up here. There's a bunch of different options. So I'm just going to click the settings. We have quick settings or custom settings. I haven't gone into the custom settings yet, but quick settings should be enough to get you started on some basic printing. There's a couple options. The first option is quality. You can go low, standard, or high. I'm gonna go low because I want a fast print. And there's two boxes you can check. Raft, which is, I would recommend it because it will make a little raft under this object that it will stick to, but you can pop it off after. So it doesn't stick directly to the bed, which is always a good thing, I would say. Jared, thoughts on that?
With a properly adjusted printer, I really like rashless printing because it's faster and uses less plastic. That having been said, I'm not convinced that this is fully properly adjusted yet, and sort of raft probably makes sense until we get the bed formula.
Yeah, it's worked pretty good with the few prints that I've done, so.
And if your bed's heated, you can skip the raft.
Except our rashless pieces popped up.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know. I haven't tried a raftless print.
Oh, you have it, oh, okay, I thought you had, maybe that was before it was even adjusted in the first day, the rashless one. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
maybe. But I've just used it because it does take a bit of time, I should remember. The other thing is support. So this, what it'll do is it'll automatically set support. So if you have some, like, let's give an example. If you have something that would be like overhanging or something, it'll just create a support for you that can pop off easily after, and it automatically does that. So if you need it, then I would definitely select that.
So you don't have to program it?
No, it'll do it for you, which is really cool. Yeah.
It is worth noting that this is the type of support that's using the same plastic for the support, so you have to actually snip it off afterwards. There's another type of support that we could technically do with the dual extruders, but haven't figured out how to do the material for yet. Where you use a different type of material, and then you actually throw it into an alkaline bath that melts away that material. And so that's a support you can use in a much more flexible way, but needs a different bath to.
But yeah.
Have you ever used support of the melt away kind
Oh,
of things?
no, I haven't.
Yeah, it's gloves and that kind of situation. Yeah. I should mention actually, this is a good time to since I have added you as the reigning queen of printers at this point. Is it Monday nights you do your printer thing? Is that?
Yeah, I might often in the studios, book a time between holidays. So,
Yeah, okay.
I have them all 3 days.
Cool. Kate Stoll, I want to talk to, if you want to see different types of printers. I think she has more printers than.
Come to my studio. You visit me, you come in. Ridiculous.
The other thing, the other options here that we talked about, infill is one where basically how solid you want your object. So to make this print fast, I'm gonna go 10%, and it will make supports inside, it's just depending on how strong you want your object. But for this, I'm just gonna go 10% because don't need a lot of strength. But you could go all the way up to 100%. That's really good all the way. Layer height also is a quality thing, I think. That just means you can tell it to make thicker layers or thinner layers. So thinner layers, I think you'll get more detail and better quality, and thicker layers will be faster, as far as I know. And then number of shells, basically, if you're not filling it in 100%, you can tell it to make as many shells as you want. So basically, more shells will make the outer layer stronger or thinner, depending on what you want. And I think more shells will also increase printing time, as far as I know.
Well,
Is that right?
box or a vase, something that's hollow on the inside,
Right.
increasing the shells, so you have some rigidity.
Yeah. So, okay. So, yeah, so is it, for those types of objects, it would be better to make more shells?
Yeah, 2 or 3 shells, because
Okay.
the amount of layers that the outer edge would go through, so the number of times it will be around for you, so.
Right.
One shell will just be one bead going around, you have, it's just for exterior areas.
Okay. How does it affect the quality at all, or?
Sure, like in the box that's square,
Yeah.
if you've got that a little more, if you only have one shell, it's gonna be very easy to,
Flimsy.
yeah,
Yeah.
to crack.
Okay.
So having that outer, you pick, like having a wall.
Okay.
A wall, shells are like walls.
Alright. So for this print here, I'm doing low quality, raft, no support, 0.3 millimeter layer height, 10% infill, and 2 shells. And that's basically the basic quick settings that you'll need to get some basic prints started. I don't think you'll have to adjust the extruder temperature unless you change the material. And the platform temperature has been working at 115, so I wouldn't adjust that either. So the next thing you could do is go preview, and what that will show you is kind of, it will tell you how long approximately your print will take in the upper right hand corner here. So right now it's telling me 27 minutes to print this. And you can also look at how it will print it. So it has, if I zoom in here, you guys can see the raft. I don't know if you can all see that. So that's the raft it's going to print on. And you can also see each layer that it's going to print. So just by dragging this down, right now it's saying this is going to take 66 layers. And you can just drag this down and kind of see the process it's going to, so it's going to show you each layer that it prints, which is kind of cool. You can just go over, if you have something really complicated,
Oh.
I would just make sure that it's all good. So that's the preview. And then from there, you can go print. And what it's going to do is heat up the heating bed to 115 degrees. And then the 2 extruders, or the one for now, because we'll use one for this print. And then we'll start printing.
White nozzle is very.
What's that?
The white nozzle is not going very well right now. It's really only printing in orange. The white nozzle needs to be cleared, I think.
So this will take about like, I don't know, 10 minutes. Yeah. Nothing exciting.
About $30. It's 5 cents years old. Was it?
No.
We work online mostly. There are a couple places to get it locally, but it's a little bit cheaper.
You can get any public agreements.
Right, absolutely.
My office.
So feel free to play with this printer and look at the videos on Megawatt site if you want another introduction through that. But this is enough of an introduction that if you come and read the manuals and read the website and step through it, you'll be able to go along.
So, is this all?
I don't require it, I'll get it before the end of the day.
For this one, it is. Arduino 3D is actually using a different piece of software that has some open source aspects to it. But this one proprietary.
Forever, you'll get your
You absolutely can. So one thing that Armand didn't talk about was design aspect. And so there's a site called Thingiverse. You can download a lot of designs from. So this was downloaded and didn't have to have any more signed on it. Once you do get into the design game, there are a few things that you can do. And that's more. Thingiverse, yeah, it's a really fun site.
So basically,
Right.
Talk to Ron, he's done that a couple times now, basically you but then you've got to run through something like this, and so it makes it.
Would be a trade on.
so it's pretty easy.
I'll have to go.
Oh, no, I'll just print.
I'm just trying to turn on my,
So
trying to solve when I have this in myself.
Yes. That's right. But it is having difficulties.
We're not there yet.
The moon and Mars and stuff. Somewhere I read that you could actually 3D print the moon's
You were that one that wanted to go to someone else to be left.
I feel like I'm trying to take my time.
Well, thanks for putting that together.
Oh, actually, I had an also
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so I don't know.
All these guys are.
So maybe that is my program.
Oh, that's good, that's.
Yeah.
I
I mean, it's
I
the
can probably
same.
see the boxes.
It's wrong with it. It's replacing.
Yeah. Okay, like if it gets hot enough.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, yeah, there's a tool that they would have. in the-
So that one fits right here.
Right, yeah, no, I suspect that, this is, let's do that afterwards, that's all, it's all together too, talk about where that stuff is. Yeah, all right. Oh, I'm not quite to that stage yet. People are running to remote license that.
Did you see the Make magazine that Victor released?
Yes, sound was back.
Okay. Now the battery's gone, so.
Oh, of course it is. Right.
You don't want power when it's too sweet.
There might be some other things.
It's all spot.
I saw that.
Yeah. He's like,
Yeah, I saw it on Well, I was watching it. No. Some of them, they send you I'm actually. Print parts to make a second one.
You're talking really
Well, I don't know if that's anymore, but a lot of printers.
That's all in Jersey. I was looking at like, I know a concert I'm at.
On the.
Say.
I just said to go look at him like, man, you are. I don't remember it. All I remember is I turned around and then that's, you shuffled away to another area.
So that we're by another thing, I don't have space.
So you have 100 degrees, right?
No, you have,
Yeah, it's kind of.
the other side of the transistor to
You went.
But then, you know.
that's the other side of the,
Oh, I need.
because you're kind of,
I need to-
How much did it?
or you drive.
Did they give it a size? You're calling it a UN 32. Does he try to do it for it? No, because yeah, right, or should just be
Well, I
focused
sort of
on
have one.
the view.
Kate gave me a broken one.
No, because the way you're typing is like a short for each phone.
I mean, I could be using,
But you write unsigned.
but I could be strong, I could be strong this and unsigned card, only with
But,
your hand.
only has signaling power.
You know what, screw this.
Let me pull back up. Let me pull back up the picture on
Oh,
that.
I like you chart, I like chart. Chart can't.
Like say it doesn't happen, but it's interesting that we say so it's negative, just as how that.
Basically, they seem that.
Flat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so is that like pretty easy?
It would be, probably, like,
Yeah.
Let's just,
head up here for three.
You bet, have a good one.
All right, see ya.
Okay, so there is your picture again. You want to have the plus on this connected to something high power. And so we did discover last week that when it's plugged in, that this is off of 12 volts, and so you can go off of V in. But then so let's look just at the green one, for instance. The green output is going to the center pin of the transistor. The right pin of the transistor is going down to the ground. And then the left pin of the transistor is coming on the signal.
This has to be changed. This guy is pretty
So that plus has to be running to.
Okay, so one is,
We don't want 5 volts on this guy.
What's ground?
You don't want 5 volts on this guy. You want 12 volts.
Well, I put the in it,
But whatever your input voltage is. This is actually what we were previously running off of the power supply with USB, such that they've got full voltage for the system.
So you want the plus not in sync.
We do, because that's what's powering the strip, but then you need your control signal for this, so you're running off of the center pin of the
oh, yes, sir.
Yeah.
transistor.
is fine.
Yes, the pin goes into, so the transistor is acting to make a loop between your plus 12 volts and the ground return off your plus 12 volts, not go through your board of the pin, so you don't burn your pins out.
It was fine.
And so the pin is going to the leftmost one there, and then the green.
You only pick up one
Whatever
line,
the
and
color
then
you're
you
trying
pick
to drive.
Yeah.
Green you're trying to drive?
Uh,
Why green rather than red?
Well, because that's the thing, it's just like it's compiling. Okay, this. These are the pixels. We've got this, we've got the wire current.
Okay,
So it's good.
so this,
It's green, fine, so green is good.
no, so this is the green colored LED. And this wire from the green colored LED cannot be in a pin directly, because then you have,
Even ground.
what would be right?
Ground.
Except that you have to, remember how we're driving these, is, I guess if you bring it directly from 12 volts all the time, I don't know. probably should. The way that we have probably should control this, so that our signal wire could adjust the brightness of the LED. But all I probably should how much is going into ground.
And then there's one that's very
That's my intention.
But there's no control over this. I think the way you are now, is that to be in.
I just realized.
Do something wrong.
I think they just run the.
Okay, so you somewhere have the shorting in the bad way. And so this is basically what the transistor is doing in the circuit is protecting from that type of shorting in the bad way. And allowing you to use a power signal from your hand to drive the LED without drawing the entire current through the board.
Here to just grab
For two.
So last
Looks like you're still
2 weeks ago now,
streaming.
we looked at that website. And maybe what I
Wired exactly like that.
didn't wire exactly like
Except
that.
the,
Yep.
the.
Yeah, just wired exactly like this is the way that I would suggest. And then you'll be using this pin that was in World War 2 weeks ago to drive.
It's just as well we didn't watch those live, like some people because.
No, we just proven by shorting the board out that it comes back to life, so you can't do it anymore. This is learn.adafruit.com/RGB-LED-scripts.
So you have like a basic material, and then it's in a bed.
Sure.
Semi-permeable, but it's with that.
Yeah, these remotes have absolutely no matter. Oh, okay. So it's a bouncing off thing.
Yeah, it's like the long years, this distance in the office, like.
Oh, it's interesting.
Yeah, I go here, it's fine.
I'm getting probably 4 of them.
It's like keep rushing it, eventually it's going to be the right.
Right.
But I'm like using the exact.
No, you probably should.
I was trying to figure out, right?
Yeah, no, it's not. It makes me wonder if there's an adjustment.
So rats feel that now.
Go ahead and cancel the print. Hey Zach, where's the cancel? I haven't actually used this MakerBot software yet.
So we want our new state.
Alright, so
What do you want from the start?
Like, I'm trying to incorporate the link sketch. Yeah, but the essential bits of it into the variable. That's what I wanted to do, was look at this and see whether this is going to. When you deal with the normal picture.
Sure. So let's do a quick read through and see what we can modify.
Sometimes it's really.
Receiver. Scrolling down.
Well, I want to know what happened, 'cause it started extremely.
You've got two groups in there, is the main and drag that you can have only one voice in the program. And so you're gonna have to actually integrate these pieces in with that registration around. And so actually this ping mode can only be set up as well.
In a forward?
No.
Well, it's okay, because this,
It's like you're implementing.
If you're assigning something and you plus plus, it's different than if you have a thing. Yeah, plus plus thing and thing plus plus. So in the first case, it for the evaluation, the second thing,
you know, it looks like all that's coming from down here.
you want to double check that.
That sounds better.
So I think the way that I would do it is if you've got a version of this saved, I would go back to that saved version.
I don't think it's they actually, there's a clause that's sitting on the already, they're not coming back to the question.
Go open it again. Oh, okay.
It's supposed to warm up.
So,
Yeah, you can just go to the file cabinet there. Not that next one.
Are you no, we're just plugging away. And then.
This will be.
That can help me see, when it
And then you need this.
Almost there.
you know,
Doing circle?
Yeah.
Almost there, yeah, cool.
we'll see what happens. I'm just doing a test on my code now, test compile. We'll see the part. We're doing the
Yeah.
doing the
Oh, yeah, right,
5
yeah.
degrees, 5 degrees.
There we go.
For press release. Yeah, I can press release and get 5. So it's a you know.
Yeah.
This.
Have you, okay, so you're looking at the FFFs and keeping it going all the way up? Cool.
We'll see if 36 ups and 36 downs is too annoying.
How you doing?
That's the
You're
end
blind
result.
as with a blink.
That's-
Did you wait?
Pow!
No, it's back in USB 0.
I gotta.
Oh shit, yeah, I've seen those things. There's smoke.
Yeah, I wish, I was so curious, I wish I had not been looking directly when they turned it on.
My little, like,
value from the remote.
Tree pocket flashlight that runs off like lithium batteries.
A couple things that let's look at with this.
Yeah, it looks like a 3 watt emitter, but like, it makes you see.
You have this, you have results that.
Alright, so.
And
That's
so
what we're-
that's what we're gonna be using as a comparison.
Now.
And so.
Okay,
It's gonna say.
fail.
Results.value.
What's it supposed to be doing?
Incrementing by 5 degrees.
Using up and down?
Yeah.
And then the other thing is to identify
So,
the X
not
value,
so
if you use the prefix 0x.
Wait, can you press the button again?
Any buttons?
Yeah, or whatever buttons you were pressing before.
Hold on.
No,
A little
it's
light
not.
is flashing on the inside.
So that's the way they do identify X value of that quoting.
Oh, yeah, there's a light going here too.
So is it good to, like, you set it up?
Oh, wait a minute, it actually moved.
Oh, 5 degrees is just imperceptible.
Oh, no, there we
Sure, that's
go.
fine. The only reason I suggested LED 13 is that you don't have to do any additional wiring to see if that's something out.
It's just
but,
that the
that's the
reception
fine
is
thing to do it that
maybe
way
a
as
little
well.
on the dubious side.
LED.
Okay, that was.
No, there you want to use the digital right, in the format that.
Well, I checked to make sure it's less than 175 before it'll attempt to add
So
5 to it. But,
Yeah, round bracket.
well, you know, it's making it less than 180. Let's see what happens.
179.
Round
Yeah, the one that
Oh, is it?
yeah, because like it starts to grind.
Ah.
Because it actually hits the stopper.
Okay, so you don't want to go less than 1 either.
I don't know.
I would normally define that LED.
Why is it zero?
Setup.
Yeah. It originally
Okay,
Because because you've actually got that little pin that sticks out, right? That hits like
Just
just like
because this time
so.
you're redefining it each time. It actually shouldn't make any difference in this code. the way that it
So
is,
if you like
but,
take this
that's
out,
how
it's
it works.
continuously rotating.
Right.
Why did they put that in?
It's just because then it's got to do with like
The feedback.
the inverter.
Okay.
Yeah, they actually had a rotary inverter to be able to.
Oh, so it doesn't,
Yeah.
it only knows the position and reference. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
else.
Like, instead of having an electronic controller, it just has this little physical stopping.
Huh.
I've got it on, because I'm only dealing with one.
Sure.
It's doing a weird thing.
Exactly.
That's it?
Oh, that's what the sketch, yeah.
You know what, I'm gonna the wrong way around.
Yeah.
First thing.
Well, when it increments it, I'm gonna do a sanity check on it.
Servo does not make
Greater than 179,
There is, you can
then
open
I'm
the
just
serial.
force it to
number,
be
same thing, you can say serial, but line,
179.
I would, at that.
Servo, right, quotes are
So you just want to know.
This is what we want to do.
No, it
We want to turn it on. We'll leave this out.
This shouldn't be flat.
Yeah.
But it has, it's,
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Yes, there we go.
So it's.
What I would do actually, is, for right now, just change that.
Let's take out the else.
And, leave this, line, that is, and, then, you should be able to, extract your, separate your program.
Thank you for
Separate your program.
I haven't started.
Oh, shit.
Just moved it to the other side.
Yeah, you are running lots and lots of current through that system. You need that's okay. I think I will have
Wow.
Wireless, that
Okay. Anyways, let's check your program logic, and then we'll get back to what's going on with the. So, yeah, do you understand why we're at the early here? Because we got the, the original plane sketch on the first day. So we can turn it on off that any wiring. And so the result should get this go. Yeah, it's a county with mine.
Do you work with that?
Yeah. Part of the rack. No, we have to.
Now, people say,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, that's just
So, so 13 is the built-in one, and anytime you push a button, it should turn that on. And it which means that we've got another light.
We call this cold. It's a lot of.
All right.
Just to reassure me that we can still circulate it, you get reopen the blink switch. And it shouldn't do anything from that.
When I do this.
I was in Kelowna in October.
So see,
Chris.
when we go to the other one and upload the one we were working on back again, we should see. Oh, we don't ever even set it low.
What are you?
So when you're actually setting something to this, we have no LED.
Why are you not?
And now it should never turn off.
Oh.
So this program logic is actually working okay. It's not ideal, but we'd like to have it have some hit statements in here. What I had suggested doing
Is you do 32
into a different one of the hex values and turn it off. So the name else would actually appear. Because here you go. Right.
I think that there's actually a problem if you use a chart.
So if this it calls for something that you right pin one,
You know,
then it would have the effect that when you of course you don't need one. When you let go of that, it's not receiving.
Great, but I mean, if my value is actually negative.
You could just to do a test to make sure that so we can see a little bit more of
Exactly.
word that's right.
Well, how do you equal negative, you have to make 0 is bigger, how do you make one around?
You know, that's very good. Keeps going up. When I put 13 in here, 13 starts flashing, it just flashes all the time.
Okay.
When I put 12 in there, which is what I'm hooked up to now, out of the circuit, nothing happens. Oh, I already have.
Okay.
Except it's obviously, when I push the button here, this little 15 here, it lights up.
That's a different one though. That's 3C. That one's on automatic and
So it is receiving the signal.
that one exactly like you want it to. Good deal. Fantastic. The next thing that the next thing we encourage you to look at is that this results.value is splitting out a hex value depending on which value.
The serial monitor?
Yeah, so if instead of saying just visual right in one time, or you take out, you could say results.value equals changes 0.s and then the number that we get. And then else.
So you do zero, it's like.
Look at this.
Well, you don't need to do serial line. You just need to do serial monitor
Okay, let's see what happens. Here's where things get stupid. Ready for stupid? It's fixed with the chart.
That guy,
Why did the chart move my finger? All right.
Now,
Okay. Yeah, lights turned on. So you want to take one of those X values and use that in the if statement. Not quite yet.
Well, no, but I let someone on it so far.
I'm still talking and breathing, so I
Now I know you're talking. You know, it's one of these subjects. And I'm able to
Well, this
see.
is really strong. It's really good.
So for all the things about you, how do you know it's like there?
So that chart up there,
Yeah. 5 ground, which is like this.
let me go hold on to my little computer, and,
It shows like it's
oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Then out you go.
That must be red.
the results. Same thing with.
It's actually you're designing a period of.
That seems to hold it. Press this and have it. I think this might be there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, something else is going on.
I had a brief look at the.
Right, yeah, I hit like
150.
Say.
You can shut
I
that.
did like another project.
So-
So before that, I think that's back maybe, but way back when chemo was that first thing. He's like, yeah, I know. Way before that, John was certified on cell phones.
It's probably not absolutely necessary in that use. So people tend to already have to choose. You get,
And that was.
it's a discharge.
Well, because I have their-
I looked on the
But wow,
Really,
it's
you know,
on
people
like.
the first part
That-
of
that- I think what I would,
the
I
game changes something else.
put it on.
Everyone's figured out except
If
for
you
one
take that
person.
thin LED out,
Even knuckleheads will
it will
think
turn
that
out.
it's on to one person, so.
You
need that anyway.
Wave morning.
We have.
Water morning.
We have one person.
Wave bubble.
Equals in the if statements, which is very bad.
Yeah.
Double.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know,
So let's, where are we at?
So all I'm saying is,
So,
one of the key objectives is how to apply something like TV.
It is,
yes, yeah, but it's already by default. So
yes,
when,
which is.
Very
when
important.
we did,
And set up digital.
or at least
rights
framing some of it.
Yes, well, yes,
And you said it doesn't have.
yeah, find the happy drum,
In the setup.
put it in there, yeah.
Or
Say something like that.
So this will-
Digital right. No.
Say we don't wanna get caught for these.
What's that?
We're just making sure we're doing our due diligence on producing these, like, what are they called, evil hacks.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
At least
TV
we
be
frame
gone.
somebody else.
Oh, it's
Make sure
gone.
someone else gets blamed for what you dropped off.
That's right. No, this is essential.
Because otherwise, there's a whole lot of this.
Right,
bad.
right. I speak from experience.
As part of the documentation, there should be some sort of exit strategy or.
Or like it's the TV be gone, it's over, you set it and leave.
Yeah, that's what
goes
we're
on. Okay, but now.
Good benefit, just what you're at
To make it.
Yeah.
self-destructing.
So let's, yeah, we're in business.
Oh, I'm sure it's not now. It's now been flooded.
Good for sports hours.
Well, we're not. else.
Yeah, at a special place in mind.
So we
Art
tested
for the-
to be able to move back to pin 10 on.
This one we tried.
So there's
Just
some
love for
else
two
going
brain
on
cells.
because
Way too loud.
it should
Yeah.
not generate so much current.
You know what I
that
discovered?
degree without
Andrew and I
actually
were
doing the,
practicing darts at
So it actually suggests that we
Downtown,
go back to
in
the
hockey games. Do you know you can ask for one from Johnny?
Really?
So tempting because they live the same way.
No, that's wonderful because then like, you know, you get a bunch of frozen there to watch the hockey game and you want to play darts. So
That seems to be.
you get a Punjabi and they go elsewhere to look for them. You can go over the like the games room, right? There's more TVs in Stratford.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, and try it with a different transistor, because the transistor has fried itself.
I think the only sports bar I actually enjoyed was in rural Pennsylvania, and it was just such a cultural experience.
Really?
Yeah.
What made that bar a different cultural experience than?
It was like just so.
I suspect if I went to Britain, I went to like a pub, there was like a soccer match.
Yeah.
It would be a different.
So
Yeah.
we've got about 10 or a little bit more minutes left. I actually wanted to talk about a couple things tonight. Can we put a bit of a pause on circuit hacking and talk about projects a bit before we run out of time to break up? Wanted to just kind of get a poll in the room of who has projects they feel solid about. I have one more thing, component-wise, I want to show in here. That's the MP3 player next week. But I'm really worried that we're halfway through the course, and even I haven't started putting together my project. I think that at this point we've got most of the building blocks to build a good project pretty quickly. But if we're talking about mechanical complexity or fabrication complexity and stuff, we're going to hit bottlenecks pretty quickly. And so I just kind of wanted to do a go around and see who had concrete projects in mind, if we're willing to talk about those projects a bit, and if we can kind of talk about feasibility of what we're going after project-wise. Is that a reasonable request? Can I actually start back there with you, Bruce? Because I think you actually have some stuff on the way with a fairly concrete project. Is this true?
Yeah, I haven't taken it apart yet. I actually got it here, the parts, but I'm just doing like a little rover guide, and then I have some experience, a little bit of experience in like sewing and costume making. So I thought about making a little R2 body on it, or an R2-ish clone. It'll only be about that big, and it's pretty lightweight thermoplastic. So I'll shape up something and then hopefully get to paint it and stuff and put it on the rover. And then I've got a few sensors like you suggested from that place had them. The proximity to the whisker one, and the line following one, and then one other. And then I got an Adafruit, I can't say it. The Bluetooth one.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I just have to put that all together. I haven't done that yet.
Okay, cool. So you've got a motion platform and some sensors, and the line following sensor. We've got, for instance, that string of black tape on there. So a little bit of fabrication time, but most of the components are there, and that should be a fairly straightforward.
I think so, yeah. There's videos online of guys with some videos, so I think I can figure it out.
Cool. Okay, great. Let's plan on next week spending about half the time on the MP3 player, and then the other half of the time actually starting to execute on projects a little bit. Who else has that project that's at a point that be willing to talk a little bit about?
I haven't really got anything set up already yet, but my plan is to have a base which will hold a couple of presents, which will be the speakers that'll play the Christmas music, and then I'll have the tree will be about this round, about this tall cone, and I'm gonna put the controller inside that, the battery, or maybe I'll have an external power source. I don't know yet because I'm gonna have lots of it. And a NeoPixel ring on top. I don't know if I showed you all that, but pretty cool. One of those things. And that'll be the top of the tree, so it'll do little fancy whatever. And I'll have probably maybe 5 buttons at the front of it that look like I don't know, something or other, maybe little Christmas presents or something. And the little candy cane is gonna be the on-off switch.
Cool.
And then I'll have these, fancy schmancy NeoPixels, which are the individually addressable ones that you can make in color. And I'll wrap them around the tree. And as a different song plays, it'll do a different little pattern. And I'll have the MP3 player inside with it as well. And then my mom or whoever can put whatever song she wants on it, right? And push the 5 buttons and they'll play one or the other or whatever, what have you. So that's about it. I don't know exactly how I'm going to deal with the tree part. Like, should I try and print the whole tree? Like that would
That'd be big and hard.
a lot, right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking maybe if I can get some sort of some other option for the tree, maybe sort of a pre-made one that might have a hollow base or something. That way I can keep the printing down, because that was a bit of a fail today. But that's kind of what I'm going to do. And I've got all the bits for it. I've got the speakers, I've got the music player, I've got buttons, and I've got the pixels. And so it's all just a matter of now trying to figure out how I'm going to do the actual physical parts. You know,
Right.
the base, the tree, the presents, and how to put them together and make them in a nice form that looks decent.
How do you intend to do the sequencing of lights? Is that gonna be kind of manually programmed, or are you gonna
Yeah.
try and use the sound to drive when the lights go on?
I kind of want to do the sound to drive the lights, but I think that might be a little bit too complicated. That might be phase 2.
Yeah.
What I'll do now is I'll probably write a few different subroutines for the LEDs, so all blue, all red, all green, or pattern, cycle through these colors, cycle through those colors, do this, that, and the other address. And so I'll have a bunch of subroutines for that probably.
Yeah, okay. Well, the first step, that sounds good.
Cool, thanks.
So we're thinking about the little robot that we brought in the other day is little, and so what we'd like to do is build something bigger that has a little bit more functionality to it. And we're kind of hoping, but I know it's backordered, the voice command stuff, so we'd like it to do.
Getting a little bit worried about parts ordering on that.
So we may add something else instead. Still a question mark.
Okay.
Is that okay?
On about now. So what do you now have planned? Is your little floppy robot getting that?
Well, you know, the mechanism has gone through a bunch of iterations, getting simpler and simpler as time goes on. The one mechanical designer at work who's great at picking a lot, he had a bit of an OCD moment last night. He couldn't let go of the idea. And this morning I came into work and said, "Oh, I gotta show you this." And he drafted up this like really elegant system, but it's gonna take like way too much machining for my liking. So I'm probably gonna still go back to the more simple thing. The basic idea is a teddy bear, kind of like Teddy Ruxpin, the basic idea, and it moves, it makes sounds. And that was actually kind of creepy when it first came out. And I thought, well, you know, it's mashed up with something else that's creepy. The first is all me to see in Walking Dead, which sort of ends at the rib cage. So it'll be the top half of Teddy Ruxpin crawling along by its forearms and making.
Yeah.
So the mechanism has, it's actually, you know, I sent a link to you about the guy who made our remote control crawling zombie prop for Halloween. The thing that's always been hard, and that's been the hardest thing to get my head around is, you know, it's easy enough to make something with 2 motors that just has almost a circular motion where it plops down its arms and drags itself along. Well, how do you steer that? So what you need to do essentially is not have a circle, but an ellipse where you can vary the major axis to change the stroke length, and now you can actually steer. So that's trying to get that as a simplified mechanism has been an interesting exercise. So we've got it down to using 4 servos.
Okay.
1 servo control. I tried to get around that, doing something else. But I think it's gonna end up being 2 servos on each arm. One controls strictly front-back motion, one controls up and down motion of the arm.
Uh-huh.
And the linkages are all built out of remote control vehicle rod ends.
Okay.
So like essentially ball joints and with control rods going back to the servos. And it's
Yeah.
essentially a parallel arm linkage like your Luxo lamp at home would have.
Right.
So it keeps, as long as you have a pair of linkages fixed with equal lengths to the front and back, those 2 pieces will always be parallel throughout the range of motion. So that gives you the ability to have this upper arm that you're driving forward and back, but the forearm angle is constant relative to the body.
Right, okay. So you have mostly mechanical problems rather than Arduino coding problems.
Oh,
because
yeah.
Once you get the mechanical side worked out, it's really just controlling a couple servos.
And I finally got this thing and last week I haven't bagged it yet. So this is actually an interesting board. I believe you can buy these on Adafruit, but it's a 16-channel servo breakout.
Yeah, okay, perfect.
So it's got a controller on it that you load values into through a serial bus, and it maintains those values. So I can tell any one of the 16 servos to be at a value, and then it's maintained. And I can update that as fast as I can update through the serial bus. So as quickly as you can update neopixels to different colors, you can tell servos to change their position.
Yeah.
And this little chip's got all the smarts to keep. Essentially, you're offloading from the Arduino to this chip all the hassle of actually maintaining the PWM values for servo motors.
Oh, very cool. Okay, that sounds like you're well underway. Yeah, totally does. Cool. You are probably having to run momentarily. Can I guess since we have 2 minutes before you give your
Oh, yeah, no, go ahead.
Oh, no, I just was gonna see if where you were on.
Oh, well, I'm having, I really enjoyed getting to know the scope of possibilities of each pieces of the kit, right? And then from that, it seems like ideas are good, so I don't have a project.
Okay.
This.
I guess, is there other things that I can do to help, or is it really just kind of letting the ideas ferment of what we've played with?
Yeah, that lots percolating around there, and of course I had, I picked up my Blender Ender here the other day, and I thought it'd be cool to have, at very least, maybe a little cigar, and, to have maybe approached him, that his cigar lit up, like,
Cool.
It's just
Cool.
never ends, it's
Yeah.
the ideas, so.
Okay, so you're not worried yet?
I
You
am
just
not
say, yeah, okay,
worried
good.
at all, I'm very excited to know if anyone needs any parts or pieces printed for projects, I can definitely help you out there.
Cool.
You have to give Bender his little antenna.
That's right.
That's
Yeah,
one,
well-
that is an important bit, don't you remember?
It's a design flaw, I'll have to.
Don, how are you feeling about trying a project out of these pieces?
I still feel like I don't have very much idea of how to execute what I want to do.
Uh-huh.
Like we haven't got to the MP3 player yet. So
Yeah.
I don't know how that fits. My idea is still the same as I told you before, that I get something that has a sensor in it that tells it when somebody comes close,
Yeah.
and it turns on some music.
Yeah, okay.
And I was originally thinking that I would have it generate the music using random numbers and frequencies and stuff,
Mhm.
but I'm not sure how that would fit with using an MP3 player as the source.
Yeah, no, it's having it generate is probably a little bit different programming path than recording something and having it play.
And I don't know how if I wanted to do the generation part, how would we do that? That's something we have to work on.
It is, and so we can get it to generate single tones and use the output pins and modulation on those output pins and then the amplifier. Exactly.
Yeah.
So we could go that route and work on modulation, but it would also force that MP3 player we do for recorded things too. Okay. I think we're still very much on track on being able to get something on that. As long as we've seen the possibilities that you can pull together, we can get the execution together.
Okay, great.
What about you?
I'm gonna make a stuffed animal that basically has a panic attack when you use it, and so you throw it around. There's various levels of panic, like if you hold it by the leg, go down, and then you throw it, it starts screaming, ah! And then you throw it up in the air, it goes, whoa, and it comes down, it goes, shit, and when it hits the ground, like suddenly there'll be a crunch,
How traumatic. This sounds brilliant. What are you using for the sensors to determine?
Okay, so for detecting motion, I got the gyro plus accelerometer board from Adafruit.
Yep.
So it'll be all based on that input.
And you'll just use the acceleration range for determining how fast you're shaking it?
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, there'll be compulsions as well. No, a vibration motor, normally it's too high frequency, and even if you pulse it,
It's just not
it's not
compulsion
it's not
strong.
going to shake. So I'm just going to use a gear motor with a disc on it with an eccentrically placed tie point, and the cables on all the extremities, possibly some sort of springs, just to, because this thing is going to be thrown around, so I don't want the motor to be jarring. So yeah, the motor will spin in the all the extremities with it. Let's see, what else? Oh yeah, I'm gonna try to get it to stream the mouth to move with the audio.
Right, this servo kind of open it kind of thing?
Yeah, I'm now gonna go away from the servo because the speed is constant. If I go with the stepper, I can control the acceleration.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
So
kind of a wound.
it's not like right. I want it to
Yeah.
When it's screaming, I want the jaw to go drop quickly.
Right.
Oh yeah, but to do that, I have to detect the envelope of the audio. So I really only need one speaker from the MP3 player. So I'll probably take the other channel. I guess we'll go right ahead. The magnification filter.
Oh, sure. Okay. Yeah.
It's a volume envelope that I can then use that to determine my jaw motor.
Right. Yeah. Just feed that into an input pin and look at the frequency on it. Yeah. Okay.
The jaw itself will probably be rubber. I assume because again it has to be on the front end.
Great.
So all the breakable parts will be in a smallish cartridge, and probably there'd be some padding for that.
Okay, this sounds delightfully horrifying.
It sounds theme.
I do, indeed, yeah. One last question before we break up. I've got a phone call with the Stan Winston folks on Thursday morning next week, so I won't see all you again before having this discussion with them. They've asked me a couple things about how the course is going and how the Stan Winston materials are integrating into the course. And I've kind of got to say they're not so much. That people have said a few nice things about the videos here and there, but we haven't really worked them into the course material too much. I've gotten a couple of comments about they're hard to fast forward and view. Are we just kind of fail on the Stan Winston piece of it? Or? Yeah.
Things I'm getting more out of the stranger ones, like the tentacle prop ones, because if I want to have the spinal column flopping around as the thing crawls like a tail, I mean that's directly how they do the tentacle props. So if I can actually do that, it all comes down to how much torque I need on the cables and how much the servo can put out. So whether it actually happens or not, that's icing on the cake. But those videos have been the ones that I've gotten the most out of, I would say.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'm still very impressed with the quality of their content, but it's been harder to kind of weave into the course.
The guy's programming instruction is a little weird. But again, I have to ask myself, what's their audience? Right. I mean, they're not trying to teach comp sci people, right?
Yeah. Artistically, they go far beyond what I can do in terms of mask and in terms of props and in terms of creating effects. But yeah. Anybody else have thoughts on Stan Winston? If we were to do it again, would you say yay, nay on the Stan Winston?
I'd keep it simply because I've been looking at all the electronics ones, and they pretty much taught me how to solder.
Yep.
And everything, including all the sockets, the capacitors, everything. They go through the whole thing. They also do here's how to design a PCB board with this program, and then you send it away, and they create the PC boards for you and send them back. So they went through that whole thing.
Yeah.
And then he got back and started putting all the components in, showed you how to solder it, including pre-tinning and all sorts of fancy little tips on how to do it right. So I've been going through all of those.
Cool.
And I recommend them all. go through them. This is the electronics strip, if you call that. I'm going to go on to the design ones next, just to see if I can figure out how to start designing my Christmas tree thing, right? Maybe there'll be something in there. But yeah, I think if you want to learn how to solder and how to do those things, go to do the 3 Arduino ones, and then there's another one called how to build I think it was a robot something or other. It could have been a tentacle kind of thing. Do it. It uses something called the basic stamp, which is just a really small kind of Arduino thing. And it shows you how to put the socket into that whole thing. So very highly recommended on those ones. But otherwise, yeah, I still got more to.
I watched during the first week and I thought they were good and I just didn't get back to them, but my friend is coming.
Cool.
I've tried a lot of times and I occasionally get one that works, but most of the time I get things that say, they won't play.
Yeah.
Or plays, but it comes in so slowly that it's, and it won't bring, like the things are in little chunks.
Mhm.
And it'll bring in piece 1 and then it plays it. But then you gotta bring in piece 2 and there's these long gaps. So,
Right.
If you're running a browser with tabs though, you can actually open all the pieces in different tabs, get them all started.
Have you had to do that?
That's what I do, yeah, I start them all loading and go make a copy.
Each
Yeah.
By the time
tab has a different tab.
by the time the first one's done and I've got done loading and, or done watching, all the rest of them downloaded.
Yeah, okay,
There doesn't seem to
Okay.
be any limit to how many tabs you've got open at any one time, so.
right. I wish we'd looked at the way they were loading for you when you had your computer in here, because I still see
Trouble here,
trouble.
too. I have come and done it here too.
Yeah, on these Raspberry Pis, I'm not convinced that it's not a Raspberry Pi problem.
Yeah.
Since video on these little Pis is fairly mediocre.
Well, their serving system is kind of, they're a company that's focused on making special effects, they're not Netflix, their focus is not serving content. So, I mean, Netflix leverages Amazon Cloud to deliver their content. I mean, it'd be really nice if families could afford to do that too, then we have videos downloading like that, but,
Right.
that's kind of one of those things, right? We have to kind of make do with what little.
They should also do a third-party lockdown video service that they can use as like kind of a platform like similar to like a video on YouTube or Vimeo or something like that.
Right.
So that way they don't have to worry about trying to hack this video stuff
Yeah.
together. It's not really that good.
Yeah.
And actually, I haven't had that a lot in the middle of the night, 2 o'clock in the morning, it definitely goes better.
Right,
It's not good, but it's better.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I was
I'm
actually,
trying to adapt it.
I was actually this close in their comments recommended try using something like Steam for their content distribution.
Okay, well, thanks a lot for the feedback on that. We'll pass that along when I chat with them on Thursday. And see you next week for MP3 players.
I thought I had a printout of the SolidWorks